Good afternoon, Uncommon. It is November 21st, 2019. I am your humble host, TJ, and I want to welcome everybody to this session. This session is the week before Thanksgiving, so we are not going to have one of these next Thursday, but I will have a short video for you. But this week's episode is around husbands. And so if you know our format, we rotate through topics of husbands, dads, and leaders. And so this week we're talking about husbands. And so we have some really good content today, some really good news around some partnerships that we've been working on with some fantastic individuals that we're going to be sharing today. So let's get to it. Our first thing I wanted to give you an update on is around our membership goal. We are now only 30 memberships away from hitting our goal for the year. If you're not familiar with that program, it is a great way to support the ministry. It is $25 a year, and you get access to materials that the general public does not. So you get deeper content on the blogs. You get access to your own private membership group that connects everybody around the world. We're currently over 200 members so far just this year alone, and that is growing rapidly. And so we're constantly adding on features for that. And so we're excited about that whole program as it grows. The other great news is we have developed two brand new partnerships with two ministries that we have been blessed with and praying about for quite some time. One of them is the 611 Network, and you can find them on our website. On the right side of your browser, there is going to be a graphic for the 611 Network. It's also, you can find them at 611.com. And Anthony there runs a fantastic ministry. It is around human trafficking in our world today and shedding light upon that. Many guys don't understand the connection between pornography and sex trafficking. And so in 2020 and starting now, we're going to start to shed some light on that industry and see if we can make a dent. So 611 Network is going to be our partner, and we are very, very excited to share some of their content with you guys, as well as what they do to affect that industry. And so we'll be doing a interview, I think it's the first part of December, with Anthony. We'll be sharing that with you guys as well. And so we look forward to that for you, because we've been blessed with it. I know you will be as well. The other one, we've been praying about this for a couple of years now, and my wife found this ministry about a month or so ago. We reached out to Amanda Davids, and she runs A Wife Like Me. And so I wanted to share our partnership with them as well, and just give you a little bit of a window into what they do, as well as what they'll be partnering with us to do. And so I'm going to put the link in our comments here. Let's see. It's going to be A Wife Like Me and awifelikeme.com. And if you go there, you'll be able to see that they write about marriage and divorce and everything in between, like struggling, with intimacy, or working with a marriage that one of you or both of you maybe have an addiction. And so I think that it's going to be a great partnership between Amanda Davidson and us, and some of their writers they have over there. They do a great job of communicating from a woman's perspective what it's like to be in a marriage and be encouraging to their husband or need to encourage their husband, what they need from us, what we need from them. I think it's going to bring a nice balance to Uncommon from perspective of content. And so we'll be sharing some of their content with you guys, because many times guys will ask, well, is there the flip side of this discussion somewhere that I can read about? Because if you want to know what's happening with your wife, how to communicate with her, how to grow your marriage, then you might need to invest some time learning how she communicates and how she thinks and what motivates her. So A Wife Like Me is a fantastic ministry. We're very excited. We spoke to Amanda a couple of weeks back, and it's just been a great fit and scope. So we have made a couple of graphics on our website for her as well, and we'll be posting some of their content, and she will also be doing an interview with us in the coming weeks, probably after the first of the year. So those two partnerships are something we're very, very excited about, and I hope that it helps not only the guys here, but we have quite a few women who are looking for the female version of Uncommon, and A Wife Like Me looks like it is our counterpart, our soulmate, if you will, to our ministry. And so I wanted to bring that to the table and let you guys and ladies look at that and be blessed like we have been. So let's jump into our session. So this week we're talking about husbands, but the title of our session is Seeking Godly Counsel. And so what I did was I was doing some research on this, and I sent a text to about 20 guys that I'm talk to on a frequent basis, and I asked them a question. And when I get to that, I will share some of their feedback to you. So the first one, I wanted to pepper always scripture throughout this session related to our topic. And so the first one is Proverbs 12:15. Says, the way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but a wise man is he who listens to counsel. So here's some stats for you, and this is the latest and greatest I can find. 44% of couple take marriage counseling. The divorce rate is 50%. Reasons for divorce: infidelity, money, and communication. The average length of a marriage, 8 years. And a person spends about 2 years thinking about divorce before taking action. And so I wanted to, again, give you these stats real quickly, just to kind of give you a framework of what we're talking about here. You may have had counseling before you got married. You may have had counseling during your marriage, or maybe going through it right now. Marriage counseling is something that should not be overlooked or ignored. You might feel that, well, only I will go to counseling. He or she will not. Or we've been going to counseling and it's not working. Or we just finished going to counseling and we were both doing the same exact things over and over again. So your experience with that may be good and may be bad. But I wanted to give you some information around that, and when is a good time for couples to start therapy, right? If you have not been exposed to this yet, when should you start? It says it's never too soon to begin couples therapy, because you can use it as an opportunity to learn more about yourself and your partner, your relationship, and how to prevent issues from getting out of hand in the future. And so more of a preventative approach to your marriage. Now, not every couple or marriage needs counseling, but I think if we're all honest with ourselves, we probably know of a couple who could desperately use counseling, and that couple might be us. And so it's important for us to not be looking at this from a judgment standpoint or maybe even a denial standpoint. It's nothing to shame if your marriage needs a little help, needs some tune-up. And so it's important for us to know the kind of solutions and resources we have out there from a counseling session. So Proverbs 11:14 says, "Where there is no guidance, people fail, but in abundance of counselors, there is victory." So I sent out a text, like I said before, to about 20 guys, and they wrote back. And the question was, let's see, I'm going to phrase the question here. Hold on a second. I said, I'm doing some research for my Facebook Live. In one word, what is the biggest struggle in your marriage? And so you would think that, guys would, be like, I don't know, just blowing it off. But some, man, they just fired back quickly on the text. I think the average response rate on my texts was probably less than 5 minutes. 90% of them, less than a minute. So these things were uppermost on these men's minds. They didn't have to search around for it and fumble with a word. So I'll give you a list of some of the ones that have gotten, like, one person said this. So the tone of his wife or him, listening, understanding, money, balance, intimacy, time, availability, prioritizing, patience, and distractions. The one that got 2 entries was selfishness. And the one that got 7 entries was communication. Now I imagine that some of this stuff could be lumped in with communication, like tone or understanding, maybe patience. But I think communication by far and away is something that we all struggle with, not just with our marriages, but friendships, our jobs, even our walk, our being able to witness to people about our faith. So communication has always been an issue, and we focus quite a bit of our content on communication, and we will continue to do that. And so some of our Uncommon originals that are coming up next year for the members will be focused on communication. Hopefully, very beneficial communication. So I thought it was interesting to get guys' input on what was the one thing that they were struggling with in their marriage. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this list into the comments here so that you'll be able to have something that you can refer back to. And what was interesting about this list is that I included money into this list because when Dana and I first got married, money was a little bit of an issue. She came from having a little money. I came from no money. And so that was something that we had to work on together as we grew in our marriage. But none of the guys responded with money. And if you remember further up, one of the 3 main reasons why people get divorced was infidelity, communication, and money. Interesting. And so we're going to be doing a couple of things in the next couple of weeks and months, especially the first of the year, which I cannot believe it is already almost Thanksgiving. But the first thing we're going to be doing is called a marriage tune-up. And so if you are a member, you have a membership, you're going to be getting a monthly marriage tune-up sent to you that you can kind of go over this with yourself as well as with you and your wife, your spouse, just talk through some things that you could be doing to help your marriage communicate a little more effectively. And so just 4 little bullet points around what a marriage tune-up may focus on would be, What can we do to improve our communication with each other? And what's funny is that I prepped everything first, and then I asked that question to those guys. And so here it is. My first bullet point is about communication in the marriage tune-up. So thankfully, I don't have to go back and reorganize my document. The second one is, are we on the same page when it comes to sexual intimacy? Now, what you guys will find with a wife like me now contributing or at least sharing content with us, you will start to see content around maybe intimacy. Now, I know some of you guys will be like, I don't want to talk about intimacy, especially with my wife. Trust me, you get your intimacy and your communication right, man, your marriage is going to be rock star status. And you'll probably be smiling most of the day because of it. So be open to some of the content we're going to be sending you, because it is geared to help you in your marriage. The third bullet point is, do we approach our finances the same way? Again, I wrote this list before I was doing some of the research too. And you can see money, right? Do we approach our finances the same way? You may need counseling for something other than you think you need counseling for. And when I say counseling, it may not even be a professional. It might be talking to another couple who is older or wiser than you are, to get some godly counsel from that perspective. But do you approach your finances the same way? I would say maybe not. Guys spend differently than women. My wife is always telling me how many publications or books or emails and stuff that the women ministries are constantly sending her to purchase. And so you can see that that tends to be an easier sell for women than it is for guys. Guys tend to maybe purchase bigger items, maybe cars, motorcycles, more of that kind of thing, boats, maybe even homes. But women tend to buy kind of everything else. So you may not approach your finances the exact same way. Our fourth point is, how can we increase our spiritual walk individually and together? So if you're both Christians and you're not investing in how you walk individually and together as a couple, you are doing your marriage a disservice. And so I would recommend and encourage you to spend some time with each other, focusing on your walk with Christ. Let's see, our next piece of scripture is Proverbs 13:10. Through insolence comes nothing but strife, but wisdom is with those who receive counsel. And so when I was doing some research on some marriage studies that you guys may benefit from, I found a couple of these. And before I start dropping in stuff in here, and we'll see who's in the old chat here. Let's see, Robert Ferrari, welcome, brother. I see also Michael Hambrick was in here a minute ago. Welcome to the show, man. Let's see. My wife is always here watching me. She's like, well, baby, if no one else shows up, I'll show up and watch your episode. So thank you, sweetheart. Actually, one of my oldest son is tuning in today too. So watch an old dad be awkward online. Way to go. So this is one of the bits of information I found that might help with picking out a marriage study. And these are from ChristianityToday.com. They're the 10 marriage studies of 2019. Some of these we've already done, my wife and I. Some we have not. We have done the next one. I would recommend, if you have not done it, The Mingling of the Souls by Matt Chandler. And so this one is, if you have access to Right Now Media, this is actually a video series on Right Now Media, and I would highly recommend it. I think it's like maybe 6 or 8 different episodes, and they're about like 30 to 45 minutes a piece. rock star Matt Chandler does a great job of this. If you don't have access to that, you can go to Amazon and purchase the book there as well. We always recommend 5 love languages for couples. That is a great way to start to understand what and how we communicate differently from each other. And then one that we took, Dana and I took many years ago: men are like waffles, women are like spaghetti. So men get in their boxes, right? We have our sex box, we have our sports box, we have our work box, we have our nap box, we have our nothing box. We get in there and there's nothing going on. If you were to take a look at your husband and he looks like he's in a faraway land mentally, or he's gazing out to nothing, and you say, "What are you thinking about?" And he says, "Nothing," that is actually true. There's nothing going on upstairs sometimes. So women are like spaghetti, kind of a plate of spaghetti. You try to follow that strand of pasta, that one strand of pasta, and you lose track of it because looks like it goes everywhere all at once. It's like, where's it going? That's how a conversation might start, or her concerns or her emotions start off here, and they may branch into other areas, kind of like a plate of spaghetti. That is a great marriage study and a fun one to do, kind of lighthearted and but chock full of truth. Our next piece of scripture is Proverbs 19:20. Listen to counsel and accept discipline, that you may be wise the rest of your days. Sounds like pretty good counsel to me. And in case none of this fits your needs, you start with the Bible and start with getting some godly counsel there. And if you need something a little more day to day, like, hey, I'm going through this exact thing, feel free to reach out either to us or to one of our partners, or some of your friends, mentors, maybe even your church may have a mentoring person on staff, which would be very helpful. I wanted to share a couple of articles that are actually on the Uncommen website. One, I think, is happening right now. It is, "Are you intoxicated with your wife?" Another one is, I went to go pull a few things from the archives. I've been trying to pull from some old content back in the olden days, 3 years ago. This is How to Win Your Wife. Another one off of the Uncommen site is Love Your Wife Well. And I wanted to share one of these, and I went ahead and asked Amanda, make sure she was okay. And she said, absolutely, because she's already shared some of us with her audience on a newsletter. And so this is from the A Wife Like Me blog. This is called The Mess of Marriage. I would highly recommend you guys visit that, look around. Don't get tangled up with, this is a ladies' site, this is a woman's site, it's not me. Granted, all of our content is geared toward men or marriage, fathership, parenting, that kind of thing. But they are focused on, like, what they're going to go through sometimes is encouraging my husband who's addicted to pornography, or encouraging my husband to when he's going through something during his career, or praying for my husband, or what can I do to be a better wife for my husband. It's really a great set of materials. They got a ton of blog articles, highly recommended. So let's see, our last two pieces of scripture here is around Proverbs 24:6. For by wise guidance you will wage war, and in abundance of counselors there is victory. In Proverbs 15:31 through 33, he who listens to the life-giving reproof will dwell among the wise. He who neglects discipline despises himself, but he who listens to reproof acquires understanding. The fear of the Lord is the instruction for wisdom, and before honor comes humility. So I Well, I'll include those pieces of scripture into today's session here. I thought that might help with just framing what godly counsel might be. You probably have more resources at your fingertips than you realize. So to say that my marriage is failing or broken or dysfunctional and I don't know what to do, we're here to help you think about and approach some things to help it get better, because it can get better, but it does take action on both parties. It's hard to do it with just one, and it never happens when neither one tries. So I hope that has been or will be something that just benefits you guys and in the days ahead. And I know, like I said before, many of the emails that we get from people are centered around broken marriages, things they're going through, whether it be dysfunction or just, difficult times in their marriage in general. So when I was picking out some content for husbands, I wanted to make sure that we touch on real life situations, and I hope that that works out well for everybody. So we are, let's see, if I said we're taking off next week. I am out of the studio next week, a little downtime. I hope everybody is going to have a fantastic Thanksgiving with family and friends, and don't eat too much. I will try as well. I won't even wear my fat pants so that I can overindulge. But I did want to take and say how thankful we are to everybody who supports this ministry. This week alone, we have started a charter in 2 new locations in the States. I feel like I need to put on like a bear skin, like cowl or, cape, and like have Jeremiah Johnson beard going, because one's in Wyoming and one's in Colorado. And they just sound like these guys are just on fire to do this. And so I've had a chance to talk to both of them, fantastic guys. Looking forward to what they're going to do in their communities with their charters. And so, I hope that these kind of things are a blessing to guys when they tune in. I think that I enjoy the process of going through the research and prayer and putting together these things. And so if you find something in here that you want to ask about, please put it in the comments below. We don't get better unless you ask questions for us to address, or at least give comments back. And so all the guys who partook in this, thank you very much. If this has been a blessing to you in some fashion, whether Uncommon or these sessions, I would hope and pray that you would consider supporting us by becoming a member of Uncommon today. I will put that link in the comment section here in case you are interested. That is always appreciated. Be sure to sign up for our newsletter at uncommon.org. That goes out once a week, Saturdays at 9. That goes out via email. But you might not know that the article actually posts on our website Monday. The Monday before that posts live on our website Monday. I think it's at 9 in the morning. So if you are early bird and you're trying to get a jump on your week, Monday morning we got you hooked up with that article. But if you want to wait till the weekend, some guys have written us and said, man, I love getting your content on my Saturday. It just makes my weekend, springboard. And so you'll get it in your email box. So either way, works for you. That's fantastic. Follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, obviously, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Be sure you like, comment, and share. We're always on here looking to engage with guys with comments, questions. We love questions. Also, I don't know if you knew this or not, but we added a prayer request section to our website. And if you ever are going through something and you need some prayer, we have a team of men and women who pray over these things all the time. They get alerted when you fill out the prayer requests. It does not go public. It's only for us to see, so we can pray over that. You can share as little or as much as you want, and that is something we implemented about a month or two ago, and it's been very popular. So with all that being said, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, rest of your week, and if you are having some family in town or next Thursday for Thanksgiving, have a fantastic Thanksgiving. And since you're going to have to be something, you might as well be uncommon.